Hey guys, welcome back to Coastal Compass. A little different episode here. We are at the Map Center, USA Healthcare's Map Center. Or wait a minute. Yeah. Say UC Health. USA Health. There we go. I'm here with Dr. Schrubbe. And this is the third floor of the Map Center in Fairhope, Alabama. We're the southeast corner on 104 and 181. And this is your idea.
Our idea. There's a team of us. One of our lead physicians, Bob Israel, internal medicine physician over at Mobile, has been working on this for a while, as well as our. We've got a large team, but we have two kitchens. We have this one here, which is our newest one, and we're very happy to have. And then we have our other kitchen over at University Commons, which has been there for several years. Bob is in practice over there, so he's very involved in that kitchen over there.
Yeah. So, and we got a kitchen, so I just wanted to cook. And that's why I'm here doing this. That's what we're doing. So what we got is, I'll pass that one to you. Oh, okay. Thank you. And all right. But what we're trying to do is educate the public on healthier styles of cooking.
Exactly.
And we've got, what I've started off doing is I've got some oyster mushrooms and we're sweating these down right now. I'll eventually throw the onions in. I've got some potatoes in here in the oven off to the side. And this will just be fun while we help. So, Dr. Schrubbe,
Ben is fine.
Ben is fine. Here we go. All right, Ben, where are you from originally?
So I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. From way up north where it snows.
Yes, sir. We actually used to get snow there. We most of all still do.
Yep. And what got you down, or how'd you get down here? What's the story?
Well, so I went to medical school at University of South Alabama. And then when I graduated from South, joined the Navy. My wife Miranda is also from Birmingham, so she had moved down here. We got married during medical school. And so I spent almost 9 years in the Navy, which, and I'll talk a little bit about later how that changed my perspective on things based on where I lived when I was deployed. But I always liked the Gulf Coast. We just enjoyed when we lived down here in Mobile during med school. We just really started to understand that we wanted to come back down here. Got out of the Navy. I remember we moved here. It was in January. I had 2 kids at that time. I didn't have a job. Moved to the Holiday Inn, I guess at that point in Fairhope. Okay, I had no job, no place to live. Just know I wanted to live there. I remember my wife trying to get our kids registered at Fairhope schools, and the person at the elementary school was like, "You have to have a home address. It can't be a hotel." It can't be a hotel. It's like, no, but finally he was like, "Yeah, I am going to stay here." So it all worked out, and was in private practice for many years. It's only been the last 2.5 years that we, my group, Bowen Family Medicine, who's on the first floor of this building, became part of USA Health, and part of that was just the ability to have this facility, which we worked on a long time, got a lot of input from different universities about, I certainly did not know how to design a teaching kitchen. And this is what we have, which is a beautiful facility, really, I figure, state-of-the-art facility for our whole area, Bowen and Mobile County and the surrounding counties.
Yeah, and right now y'all have got nonprofits coming in doing teaching classes. Hope Community. Sean Graham's been on the podcast before.
Good.
So we definitely got relationships with them. We love what they're doing, but you're also doing stuff during the day.
Right. So we have community classes. Our program is called the USA Integrative Health and Wellness Program. And so we have community programs that we run during the week. Most of those are daytime, although we're going to start doing some evening classes too. And then also we have nonprofits in the area. Like I said, Hope Community's been up here. We've had Baykeeper. We had a event for them. But any nonprofit is interested in and you really like using the facility as a healthy, to really teach their members or their whoever in their community about healthy cooking techniques, yeah, please contact us because this has to be a grassroots effort. I mean, this is not coming. It really is a grassroots effort.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what we're trying to make it.
So with the grassroots effort, y'all got the IT set up where people can do this at home.
Yeah, so I don't have this here, but we have a large rolling monitor that we can roll in front of this cook station you're at.
Mhm.
And so people at home could have their iPad or the computer. We have the screen divided up into grids. And then we have an instructor, a chef, a dietitian, whoever our instructor is. They send out a list to that, to that class, whoever's going to be involved in the class. They buy the ingredients. And so, if it's too far to drive or they're busy at night, it's hard to get here to a class, then they will be there. And there's we can have interaction that, that person in their kitchen is like, oh, how do I, what's the proper way to do these? But
they're not just watching you.
No,
they can interact.
Yes, it's a two-way street. We several institutions have used this technique and we're just on the front end of this, but I think it'll be part of the area, especially Baldwin County is a huge area. I mean, someone in Bay Minette can be able to join our classes and not have to drive all the way down here.
How do they sign up for the classes, or how do they find out about them?
Well, the ones we have a USA Integrative Health and Wellness website, and there is a sign up portal for that. Some of these classes, I will tell you right now, our January, February, March calendar will be coming out soon. So a lot of these classes may not be posted yet, but please check back. They will be posted soon.
I do know if you're trying to sign up for the Hope Community classes, they're usually on the first Friday of is it first or second Friday of the month?
It's changed, but I think it's generally I think they like the first, but go to their website.
Yeah, go to their website, and as soon as you see it, sign up.
They are very popular classes.
Yeah, they are. I've been trying. My former board position doesn't give me any speed or ability to sign up. I'm like everybody else. So, all right. So we've kind of browned off the onions. Mushrooms are now doing good. We got a little butter in here. And let's check potatoes. Who's cooking? They'll be ready shortly. And this whole thing will be ready in a minute. We'll spread some cheese. Do we have a cheese grater?
I do have a cheese grater. Let me go.
Yeah, why don't you go find it? And
meanwhile,
I think I have one. Let me see. You want it?
Stop it. Get some help.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
So when you got bought out, I guess the word bought out, you got bought out by USA's. You're correct. That's right. And then you just stay on the USA to do. Are you retired? You still see it?
No, I have I'm a full-time family medicine physician.
Okay.
So that is my main job. So I do this. We have a group. We now have 2 part-time administrators, which has been great. And that's a fairly new development because, Bob and I are both practicing physicians. I mean, obviously, it takes time to go out and buy you have to buy the groceries for the meal and get things prepped and stuff like that. So we help out as much as we can, but obviously we're trying to have more people involved in that whole effort. We got a great group of volunteers that will come out and help. I teach medical students from USA. We'll involve them. They'll come up and do the classes. They really enjoy doing that. So there's different ways we get help up here.
So when the med students do on their rotations, do they get to choose to come here, or with you and Dr. Israel over the bay, or
some of them get assigned, and some of them will, if they know about it, they will ask to come with one of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing more and more healthcare proactive type physicians nationally, not so much down here yet, but they seem to be more and more coming in, luckily.
Yes.
And this rotation seems like it would be the one to have,
And they're starting, I will say, USA is building a new medical center.
Yep.
And that they are going to have and this is great because they're going to have really a larger kitchen than this. on the first floor of the medical school. And that those medical students during their 4 years at USA will have a lot of experience. And that is a huge change from when I was in medical school. Really, most of us got pretty much zero nutritional training. I mean, all of us have had to do it on our own and go out and
In pharmacy school, we learned that vitamins made expensive urine.
oh yeah, that was it. That was it. So it's been very interesting just to try and really right now USA they have classes for their first, second, third, and fourth year students. They've got a nutritional committee. I mean, like a student interest group in wellness and nutrition. So it really is changing because what we feel like is food is medicine. Yep. And what we've done a very good job, what I call rescue medicine. So we wait. I mean, generally something, people go along in their life, something very bad happens. And we've got very good at, if you have a heart attack, you come into the local hospital, compared to when I was a medical student, there's so much more we can do for these people. And so, there's a lot, but what we haven't done a great job in is preventing a lot of these chronic disease processes. The first step was obviously pharmaceuticals. Use your cholesterol medicine, your diabetes medicines, your antihypertensives for blood pressure. But even the step before that is, can we keep those diseases from developing, or if they do develop, can we minimize their impact? And we have great data for nutrition to be able to do that. Anything you have mentioned, I mean, heart disease,
Is type 2 diabetes curable with what you're eating?
yes, I would say, I never say you word curable, but we can control it or control it with lifestyle without using medicines or use less medicines.
Right.
It is a huge spectrum of people with diabetes, and it's kind of how far down the road they are and what's still working correctly. But we certainly can prevent a lot of diabetes. I mean, it can't all be genetic because you look at the rapid increase in diabetes over the last 20 or 30 years. So,
Well, the last 20, 30 years, we've allowed synthetic sugars to be put into everything.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame my patients when they come out. I say the food system is broken. Yep. One thing I mentioned when I was in the Navy, I lived in a Okinawa, part of Japan, and that is a blue zone. I don't know if you're familiar with blue zones. Blue zones are that they studied 5 areas around the world where people have the longest lifespans and the lowest burden of chronic disease processes. The Okinawa is one of those blue zones, and it was, I've read that it may not be a blue zone anymore. When I was living there, they were certainly building McDonald's and Pizza Huts everywhere. So I'm not sure if it still is or not, but certainly when I was there, it was very fascinating. I used to ride my bike from lived on one base, and I was a medical officer at a Marine base, and I used to ride my bike because it was very easy to ride. And you just see these people up working in their gardens. I mean, I don't know how old they were. I mean, they were probably 90, 100 years old. Just amazing. Yeah, I mean, it was just, and after 2 years living on an island, and you fly back to Alabama, it's like, whoa, something's different here. And that really piqued my interest in, like, something is different about this. The blue zone there's only one blue zone in the United States, Loma Linda, California, which is very interesting because their culture is similar to ours, and that's the Seventh-day Adventists. The Seventh-day Adventists took it very seriously in the early scripture of the Old Testament that you should really eat mainly plants, and they've stuck with that, and we've got good data with that Seventh-day Adventists. I mean, California has one of the longest lifespans of all the states in the U.S., but the Adventists, or in Loma Linda, even they're 7 or 8 years past even the California average. So to me, that's an interesting cohort to study because they are in our, in a continental U.S. So having said that, we we just really feel like if we could, to me, the hook is with this kitchen, if we can have people come up here and actually prepare meals that will prevent or at least treat a lot of these chronic disease processes, if we can show them it tastes as good or better than what they're eating now, I think we have a chance. It's very difficult. I mean, people are busy. I mean, you know how it is. You run at the end of the day, you're just grabbing something to eat. It's like, it's 8 o'clock at night. I'm hungry. And, so it's teaching people that these are simple recipes. We can make them very economical, because some people, when I tell them you need to eat healthy, like, oh, I can't afford healthy food. It's like, yeah, you can.
You really okay? The question is then is this? Can you not afford it with health things that pop up?
Exactly. Very good point.
Type 2 diabetes is expensive.
Yeah, once you go into those worlds, I mean, your average healthcare costs easily $2,000 a year, probably more for a lot of people. So yeah, I think that you can make multiple arguments. Not only is the food very affordable that you're eating, and I use the word plant forward. I don't, vegetarian, or vegan, it is a little bit overwhelming to people, but if we can get people to eat, let's say, 70, 80% plant-based, whole plant-based foods. I'm not talking about, really, Coke and nachos, or technically vegan, or vegetarian, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whole foods that don't necessarily come out of factories or minimally processed. And you still, your healthy proteins, and we live in a place that has great seafood. What do you like?
This weekend and today, I've been running around trying to find crab, and the best I could get was from Mexico.
This looks good.
What is it?
This is oyster mushrooms, crab, scalloped potatoes, and just a sharp cheddar. Put it together, and I went slow because we were talking, but this is something you could do in 15 minutes. Before we came on air, brown the potatoes on both sides, and then I popped them in the oven 350, just long enough to get the onions going, and then and the mushrooms, and then after that, it's pretty much ready. We can try
this.
Yeah, let's see if it's any good. I haven't killed anybody yet cooking.
Yet being the operative word.
Well, I mean,
So we've done some of these classes up here, and some of the, and you certainly talk a lot about preventing cardiovascular disease. You talk about diabetes, but some of the new, especially for a lot of my older patients, some of the new data about preventing dementia, or even if you have early memory loss, to be able to either slow it down, stop it, or reverse it, has been very, I've got a lot of interest in that. It's just something people worry a lot about as they age. And we really do have there's what's called the MIND diet, which is a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet, which is a classic diet we've used for treating high blood pressure. But so really need data coming out for that.
All right, so where would this fit on any of the diets?
Crab meat, good meats. Obviously, you're sauteing this. Sometimes, instead of butter, we might use a vegetable oil like olive oil on that. Potatoes are certainly good. Your onions in there. We do use, with potatoes, sometimes we use other things. We've been using a lot of our whole grains, a lot of what we call the ancient grains, quinoa, farro, brown rice. Anytime you're cooking with rice, I think brown rice takes a little longer to cook, but it's always a good option. You get all that fiber component that just taken out with your white rice. So yeah, looks good.
Jason will sneak in and
it tastes good.
Yeah, it probably needs a little more.
So, doctor, what's your opinion on supplements? Are supplements something that can help with that, or is it more focused on diet and stuff?
Yeah, I would say most of the time you don't need supplements. If you eat a whole food diet, especially your vegetables and your fruits and your whole grains, you're going to get pretty much everything. One thing, if you go straight vegetarian or vegan, B12 is always can be problematic. So a lot of people straight vegetarians because that is meat based. But if you're eating, if you're eating chicken, fish, turkey, a lot of your healthier meats, you're usually going to do fine with that. There are certainly situations where you would need vitamins, and I think a good multivitamin a day, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. I mean, one a day, you want a basic. I think it's a good safety net. So I have no problem with that. I would say I would always use your food to try to get what you need first, and you're really going to do pretty good getting most everything you need. I see a lot of people use, they're used powdered beets or something. I won't say they're bad, but if you eat the whole food, there's so much more that comes in with that than isolating out particular parts of a food. It's just there's the amount of interactions between all the components in the food, of all the phytochemicals. I always say when you eat vegetables, eat across the color spectrum, because each of those colors it confers a benefit to your health. So, but most people maybe a multivitamin. There are special medical situations where you have to supplement. We can check for those and supplement that. But I don't think you need to use a lot of supplements, in all honesty.
Yeah, I'd be careful with a lot of the supplements, especially if you're trying to replace something you're eating with a supplement. I mean, it's just like meds. In the pharmacy one day, we had one lady, she was on 35 different meds. 35 different meds. I had a student at the time that had him, she couldn't figure out why she couldn't lose weight. And I had him do a calorie count on all the meds. It's about 900 calories just in her meds with all the lactose in there. Yeah, it's amazing. But it's crazy. And you see people with vitamins sometimes, they'll start taking one, then two, then three, and next thing you know, yeah, they got a suitcase full.
And there are certain vitamins, you can overdose on, or some of them are associated with increased cancer risk. And so they can all have some baggage with them too.
True. All right, wrapping up. So if you had a magic wand and you could change, anything without, repercussion, what would it be?
I would no doubt change. I would change the. I don't figure out the best way to say that. Both the availability of these foods, where you don't have to go way out of your way to have access to these healthy foods, and that can be either, locally. I mean, we have some very good farmers markets around here, and some of the grocery stores do a very good job. So we do have some availability. And then also the restaurants and the school systems. I would love to have, if my magic wand would be able to, you go into any restaurant and you could order something that you knew your body wanted or was good for your body without having to search for it. And you send your kids to school, you know what's served in the cafeteria at school is, what that child needs to develop live a healthy life.
Yeah, and we're trying to do some of that with the gardens that the schools are doing, but we just got to get it on a bigger scale.
It's got to be on a bigger scale, and it's not easy. I mean, there's so many facets of it. I mean, it's what you serve at home and getting your kids, because all our kids are locked into what they're eating about 5 or 6 years old. And so I think there's a lot of educational opportunities. We've had school groups come up here, and we're hoping to really have more opportunities for schools to come up. We've had father-son, father-daughter classes up here where you can come in and cook with your child, which I think is very cool. And a lot of it's just getting people. Some people have never been taught how to cook, or have forgotten or
just how to hold a knife.
yeah. So we use a lot of times with our classes, we'll spend 10 or 15 minutes just for knife skills. I mean, it's to me very satisfying being able to, after cutting onions with one piece being this big and one piece this small, and to actually have a chef show me like, wow, this is how you can chop an onion and it looks good.
Right.
So the knife skill part of it really gives people confidence once they have those basic knife skills. And then really, especially with your vegetables, really learning how to use your spices, your herbs to really bring out the flavors. Mushrooms to me are just an amazing food to eat. I mean, they have all
absolutely.
benefits. I mean, the Chinese have known this for thousands of years, and we're just starting to understand. But to bring these and just say, wow, this really tastes good, without, and it's good for you. I mean, that's just a cool combination to me. If it tastes good and it's good for you, that's just a win-win situation for me.
That's great. All right. One more time. How do we find out about the classes?
Yeah, so it's the you can go to our website. It's USA Integrative Health and Wellness Program. Just type that in, and you'll get
we'll have it down below. They can click on it.
That's probably the best way. We have a Facebook page also, but just go to that, and that should give you the basic information that you need to get plugged into our program.
All right, that's great, Ben. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us, and thank you very much.